Welcome to Finance Deep Dive. Today, we're putting the world's economic heavyweights head-to-head in the ring. The USA, China, and Germany. So, who's going to come out on top? Let's find out.
It seems like a simple question, right? But the answer is surprisingly complex. Is the winner the one who spends the most, makes the most, or saves the most? We are going to break it all down in this video.
Okay, so let's meet our contenders. In one corner, we've got the USA. You can think of them as the consumer powerhouse. In the other, we have China, the undisputed manufacturing titan. And rounding things out, we have Germany, the precision export champion.
All right, first up, round one. This is a really crucial health check for any economy: debt. Just how much money do these giants owe?
To figure this out, we use something called the debt-to-GDP ratio. Look, the easiest way to think about it is this. Imagine if your total personal debt was way more than your entire yearly salary. Yeah, you'd probably be a little worried. It's the exact same idea for a country.
And wow, the numbers here really tell a story. The US literally owes more than it makes in an entire year. China's debt, it's pretty high, but it's more manageable. Meanwhile, Germany is clearly the most fiscally disciplined of the three.
So, when it comes to managing the national credit card, Germany takes a clear win in round one, no question about it. On to round two, global trade. Are these economies selling more to the world than they're buying, or are they just shopping till they drop?
This all boils down to two simple ideas: a trade surplus, which is kind of like earning more than you spend, and a deficit, which is, you guessed it, spending more than you earn. It's as simple as that.
The US is running a massive trade deficit. We're talking buying almost $200 billion more than it sold in the last quarter alone. To put it simply, America is the world's biggest customer.
Now, in sharp contrast, China is on the complete opposite side of that deal. As the world's factory, it just hit a record-high trade surplus. They are selling way more than they buy.
And what about our export champion, Germany? Well, its legendary export engine seems to be having some issues lately. Recent reports are actually showing a surprising drop in their exports.
Hey, and by the way, if you are liking the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really does motivate us to keep posting more videos like this.
All right, for our final round, let's take the market's pulse. Where are investors putting their cash? Because that tells us a whole lot about their confidence in the future.
You can basically think of stock markets as giant voting machines for investor confidence. So, what's the final verdict on our three giants?
Over in the US, the mood is definitely optimistic. The tech-heavy NASDAQ index has been hitting record highs, which signals some really strong investor confidence in American innovation and growth.
China, on the other hand, is a much more complicated story. Sure, stocks are showing some signs of life, but the bond market is flashing some serious warning signs, which suggests investors are worried about some underlying weakness.
And that brings us to Germany, where the news, frankly, isn't great. That drop in exports we just talked about, well, it's directly tied to a big plunge in investor morale. Confidence over there seems pretty shaken.
Okay, so we've looked at debt, we've looked at trade, and we've checked investor confidence. So let's bring it all together. What's the final verdict in this big economic showdown?
So here it is, our final scorecard. And what's fascinating is that each economy has a really powerful strength that is almost perfectly countered by a major weakness. It's a classic story of risk versus reward.
So after all that, who's the winner? Well, the truth is, there isn't one. The big takeaway is that each of these giants is fighting its own unique battle, armed with unique strengths and, crippled by unique weaknesses.
And that brings us to the final, most important question, and this one's for you. The high-risk, high-reward US, the powerful but centrally controlled China, or the cautious but slowing Germany? Which economy do you think is best built to win the future?
Let us know your answer down in the comments. I'm really curious to see what you all think. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the forces shaping our world. Thanks for watching.